This is an episode I considered not making. It's a super dark thing happening in search engine optimization, particularly it's negative SEO. Negative SEO means to get your competitors' websites and pages removed from Google, de-indexed, penalized, lower rankings, but it specifically uses malicious and unethical tactics in order to do this. And that is what I'm actually sharing with you on this episode of the show. It's something really crazy. Before I share it, I got to say, nothing that I say in this episode is legal advice, and I am not your lawyer. So this share comes from Mr. Charles Floate, Charles_SEO on X. He is a great follow, by the way. He puts out some crazy SEO content, and he shared this one just the other day. He said, the DMCA abuse inside Google to negative SEO remove pages from search is starting to get absolutely ridiculous. Submitting a DMCA takedown to Google is a very straightforward process. It's typically done to remove copyrighted content that's been used without permission. And so Charles Floate says, in this example, Google de-indexed a page because an Indian law firm that uses different trading names and submits 20 to 30 takedowns per day said a UK Trustpilot profile was infringing itself. The abusers had just registered another profile with .info instead of the main.com. So if a DMCA takedown is successful, Google removes the page or sometimes an entire site from its search results. And again, this is for common. You see this all the time with movies. People pirate movies, they upload them, and the copyright holders get these pages or websites entirely removed from Google search. And so in this example, this law firm registered another profile with .info instead of the main.com, just created a new .info page, I think a new .info site, and then lied to Google that they originally created the content and that they were the copyright holders. So Charles Floate says, and it got filed in Denmark. Google, of course, allowed and processed this removal. No verification, not even a logic check on jurisdiction or content. Google won't fix it because they'd have to publicly acknowledge the weakness in their DMCA system, which would create a flood of new abuse. The exact same happened already on YouTube, which they still haven't really cleaned up either. Fake legal entities plus automated DMCA scripts equals instant de-index on legit businesses, platforms, and review profiles. Now, this is a confirmed form of negative SEO. It's open season on takedowns. Google's quote-unquote transparency is a joke. And there are dozens of these fake law firms, each filing dozens of fake takedowns per day with no oversight at all. And so later this week, Charles Floate will be releasing his full research on this topic. So yeah, again, you get hit with a takedown, your pages or even your entire website could be taken off Google search, could be removed from Google search. And actually, Charles Floate just put out, he just shared something else about this. I haven't read this yet, but I saw it and I said, oh my gosh, this looks crazy. So he said, and this was 2 hours ago. He said, the amount of horror stories I am hearing from this is really unsettling. Google is blatantly allowing a negative SEO technique that can temporarily remove the most valuable pages of your site. A prime example is crypto projects being de-indexed on launch day, destroying growth and allowing for hackers/manipulators to take over the SERP with fake sites which steals user funds from wallets through fake pop-ups and connections. Crazy. That is crazy. Another example is de-indexing sports betting pages on game days or throughout tournaments, potentially losing millions of dollars in the process. And Google does nothing, even though it's being gamed at scale, even though it's being abused to facilitate financial crimes, even though it built the tools that make this possible. If you or someone you know has had DMCA abuse wreck your rankings, drop receipts in the replies. This needs visibility. This needs pressure. And Google sure as hell isn't going to fix it unless we force them to. And in the original post, someone said, been dealing with DMCA abuse for years. And Charles Floate said, it's just seemingly gotten worse now. People have figured out they can automate the submissions with AI. All right, so that's what's happening. There are some silver linings to this. It's really important to know, if you're an SEO, it's important to know this exists. If you have your own company and it's in a super competitive niche, very important to know this exists. Now, the silver lining is, if you are the copyright holder, it's not that difficult to get your content reinstated. So one person shared, his name is Luca, he shared, yeah, a good friend told me this works, but after a month, the content is live again most of the times. Somebody else, Valerie, shared 3 DMCA removals for the same page within the last 2 months. Page just got into the top 10, got removed for 10 days, back again in top, second DMCA copyright, removed for 1 hour and reinstated as Google was fast after my appeal, and now third removal looks like for 10 working days again. Oh my gosh. So this guy was hit with 3 DMCA removals for the same page within the last 2 months. The pages were taken down, got removed for 10 days, came back again in the top 10 results of Google, removed for an hour, guy appealed, it was immediately accepted, and then third removal, 10 working days again. And somebody else, Anil Tiwari, shared, it's just 2 weeks and it comes back. But Charles Floate countered, Charles Floate, the original poster, countered, let's say you do it to a flower company on Valentine's Day, the busiest day of the year, and they're gone for the entire 2-week period before and after it. Plus, I have research showing they don't always approve them, and maybe even Google insiders take bribes. Oh, that's insane. Oh man, it's really horrific. So here's what you should know about this. And I'm trying to give a silver lining so it's not completely mind-blowingly nerve-wracking and fear-inducing. But hopefully this does get fixed. And this is getting a lot of attention now, so it's possible that it will get fixed. But like, what to know? So the higher your authority and traffic, the more likely Google is to review a DMCA takedown request. So keep building your authority. Try not to get completely discouraged by this, and keep doing awesome marketing and building your authority. And then submitting a counter notice, it's just like submitting a DMCA request is a straightforward process. Submitting a counter notice is also a straightforward process. So if it happens to you and you are the copyright holder, like I said, straightforward process. It's just unfortunate that this is happening in the first place. You can also get more information into DMCA takedown requests at lumendatabase.org. Just put in your website. And yeah, this is what's happening right now with negative SEO. Really, really dark thing that is happening. It's most pervasive in competitive niches and niches where crimes occur more commonly, more often. Niches where black hat tactics are more common. And most people aren't in these niches where tons of black hat tactics need to be used in the first place. That's what I wanted to share with you on this episode of The Edward Show. This is my daily, everyday digital marketing podcast. This is 743 days in a row, consecutive days, no days missed doing this podcast, episode 743. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch this on YouTube, if you listened on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Audible, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.